Yo, what up you guys, Shane here. So, this story is messed up. It's about this kid I knew. Let's call him Michael. Michael loved Pokémon, like obsessed. Fire red and leaf green, his jam. One day he's at a flea market with his mom, bored out of his mind. Then, bam, sees a dusty cart, no label, just Pokémon prototype scrawled on it. Dude, his heart skipped a beat. The seller, some creepy old dude, practically gave it away, almost like he Michaeled to have it. Michael rushed home, shoved the cart into his Game Boy Advance SP. The screen flickered to life, the familiar Nintendo logo. But something was off. It was distorted, almost melting. Then the Pokémon logo. Except the letters were jagged, dripping like blood. A shiver went down Michael's spine, but he brushed it off as his imagination. This was Pokémon, his favourite. What could go wrong, right? The game started up and it seemed normal at first. He picked Charmander, his favourite, but as he played, little things started to feel wrong. The music was slightly off-key, like a music box left out in the rain. The Pokémon sprites flickered, sometimes disappearing entirely for a frame or two, and the trainers, their eyes followed him even when they weren't on screen. At first, Michael thought it was just a buggy prototype, you know? But then things got weirder. He caught a Pidgey early on, like always, but when he checked its summary screen, its sprite was wrong. Its eyes were empty sockets and its beak was twisted into a grotesque smile. He quickly switched Pokémon, trying to shake off the unease. But every Pokémon he caught, every trainer he battled, had the same unsettling glitch. Then came Lavender Town. Everyone knows Lavender Town, right? The creepy music, the ghost Pokémon, the whole vibe. But in this prototype, it was different. The music was slowed down, distorted, like a choir of tortured souls. The usually pixelated tombstones were replaced with realistic-looking graves, complete with names and dates, and the Pokémon Tower. It loomed over the town, taller and more menacing than he ever remembered. He tried to leave, to get out of that town, but every time he tried, the game would freeze. The screen would turn static and he'd hear this low, guttural whisper coming from the speakers. It was faint, almost inaudible, but it sent chills down his spine. It sounded like it was saying something, a name, but he couldn't quite make it out. He had to reset the game each time, and each time he reloaded, the whisper was louder, closer. Michael told his friends about the game, the glitches, the whispers. They laughed it off. Told him it was just a bad dream. But Michael knew better. He could feel it deep down that this was something more, something sinister. He kept playing, drawn in by a morbid curiosity. He had to know what the game was trying to tell him. The whispers led him back to Lavender Town, deeper into the Pokémon Tower. The ghosts were different now, more aggressive, more real. Their cries echoed through the tower, filled with an unspeakable sadness and rage. He reached the top of the tower, where you usually fight Gary. But Gary wasn't there. Instead, there was a single tombstone, the name Michael etched into the cold grey stone. And then he heard it, the whisper, clear as day, right in his ear. It said, "Heed the warnings, Michael, they are watching." The screen went black. When his mum found him later that night, Michael was pale, shaking, mumbling to himself. The Game Boy was lying on the floor. The screen cracked, the prototype cartridge nowhere to be found. He wouldn't talk about what happened, not really. He'd just stare blankly ahead, muttering about whispers and shadows and things he couldn't unsee. He changed, man. Became withdrawn, jumpy, always looking over his shoulder. Some say the game messed him up, that it showed him things no one was meant to see. Others say he made the whole thing up, that the pressure of finding the prototype got to him. Whatever it was, it broke something in Michael. He never touched another Pokémon game again. And sometimes, late at night, you could still hear him whispering, "They are watching. They are always watching."